sad day for the city today, tragic, you could even say, to be discussing this Section 114 report. And of course, since this report was published, we now know there's another 114 report and a Section 5 report that have been published. And we've seen a shameful amount of inaction from this Labour administration across the summer. And there's been a known issue of equal pay, but a refusal to take any decisions to remove that liability. But we should also be clear when we meet here tonight that this is a council issue. The City of Birmingham has a bright future ahead of it. The City of Birmingham is full of amazing people, and the city will rise like a phoenix from the ashes of this mess that's been created by the Labour administration, just like New York rised from the bankruptcy they faced in the 70s. It's important, of course, Lord Mayor, to understand why we are here. If you look at the Section 114 report, the opening section, purpose of the report, it says under 1A, the council is currently in a negative general fund position. That is because of the cost of equal pay claims that the council is now legally obligated to recognise, will result in exceeding the financial resources available to the council. We would all like to see more resources for local government. Indeed, we've written cross-party previously asking for more money, and that has actually secured increases in the council's budget. But this report couldn't be clearer what the causes of this 114 notice is, and that is a failure from the Labour administration to have resolved equal pay. We heard in the introductions from the officers concerns over the speed and effectiveness of the administration's actions to balance the budget, accounts not being signed off for 3 years. The Chief Executive highlighted the urgent condition the council is in and the need to act now, and also highlighted the council hasn't asked for financial help yet. That is why the government haven't yet announced what the financial help the city would be. So one has to wonder, how did we get here? Is it viable? Is it credible, as the leader would have us believe, that the administration didn't know of any equal pay risk over all these years? If you go back to the letters the auditors have published, they highlight issues of decisions taken in 2017. The Birmingham Mayor has talked about the bin strike deal and that being an issue. And if you look back at that 2017 report, the public report, you can see that a certain councillor, John Cotton, was consulted as to relevant overview and scrutiny back in 2017. If you turn to the Corporate Risk Register, a public document from the 27th of March 2018, the current level of risk of equal pay to the council was raised to significant. The recent, and I quote, the recent industrial action in waste management has increased the profile of equal pay. 2018 public document. You go to December 2018, equal pay strategy update was taken through Cabinet. It was called in by the Conservative group because we thought there was a substantial lack of clarity, material inaccuracy and insufficient information, that the decision gave rise to significant legal, financial and propriety issues, and it was not in accordance with council procedures. Labour members voted against that call-in when it went to scrutiny. The only people who voted against it were the 5 Labour members on that committee. But the warning was there, raised by the opposition back in 2018. You go to the 2018-2019 statutory accounts from Grant Thornton, you open them up, you can read, again, a public document on 48, and it says, key risks have emerged as follows. Equal pay remains a significant financial risk. You turn to the end to the recommendations, and it says the council is recommended to keep under close review the potential impact of one-off budget risks, such as the Commonwealth Games, equal pay and AME. Told very clearly there by the auditors that the Cabinet should be keeping a close eye on it. You turn to the Birmingham Independent Improvement Panel report from 2019, 3.11, and it says the financial risks include demographic pressures, capital project overruns, major contract disputes, potential changes to the business rates regime, Commonwealth Games and equal pay. Public report, 2nd of April 2019, from the Improvement Panel in this city. You go to the Corporate Risk Register from the 16th of December 2019. Risk number 1 on page 23, management of equal pay claims. Inherent risks to the council, severe. Residual risk, material and deprioritisation. You turn it over and under 8, it talks about the need to dismiss and re-engage to end any ongoing payment for equal pay liability. That's marked as red. Under number 6, it says monitoring working practices and waste and management, so as to identify and address any further equal pay risks. That's back in 2019. You turn to an equal pay update to the council in 2020, December. you turn to public report, turn to page 7.31 under financial implications, a further estimate of the liability of 153 million in respect of unsettled equal pay claims brought under the Equalities Act was identified at the 31st of March 2019. Cabinet told there was a residual risk all the way back from 2019, told in a Cabinet update in 2020. Job evaluation grading report from April 2022. Under the executive summary 1.2, it says, and I quote, in 2018, VCC and the recognised trade unions agreed to review the 7-grade pay structure viewed as being an inequitable structure. Told since 2018 that the Cabinet had been in discussions with unions about the pay structure in this city. You turn over to 1.3 and it says it is expected that implementing a robust pay structure will mitigate future equal pay risk. Told in a Cabinet report in 2022 they needed to introduce a new scheme to mitigate against equal pay risks. You turn to 3.17.4 and it says creates further risk of uncertainty in relation to potential equal pay claims due to incomplete processes and old evaluations with further financial liability. Yet that's exactly what you did. You failed to complete a job evaluation scheme, leaving the city at further risk of equal pay claims. You turn to the BBC website, August 2022. Birmingham City Council workers balloted over equal pay delays. Staff balloted in this organisation, yet the Cabinet claimed they didn't know there was an equal pay risk. And it says in that, the Council said it's been liaising with union members since November and has agreed a new evaluation approach. And it says in November, the union said there could be a wave of fresh claims after significant new information emerged about how the Council evaluated roles. An employment tribunal revealed key roles may have been evaluated incorrectly in terms of parity. The unions, the press, telling the Cabinet there was an equal pay issue more than a year ago. You turn to the July meeting from 2023 today, Permanent Pay Equality Short Form Report. And under 2.82, it says that it must be carried out in the shortest possible timescale given the size of potential liability. And under 2.9, it says new terms and conditions are implemented with all speed. A Cabinet report telling you need to act, and act now, not delay. And then you can look at the Birmingham Mail's articles from across the summer highlighting the issues. And yet we are meant to believe from the statements from the leader, the Council didn't know about equal pay, and that the Council are somehow doing all they can when meetings have been postponed and meetings have been cancelled all summer. Lord Mayor, the leader said we're at a crossroads. It's frankly more like a magic roundabout, where the leader and the Labour administration are going round and round, thinking they can avoid making a decision, just like they have for the last 6 years. Never mentioned in his speech, though, was all those women in the Council who are not being paid fairly if there's an equal pay risk. I would have thought the leader, a Labour leader, would want to act to ensure that those women in this Council who may not be paid correctly are paid equitably as quickly as possible, not to delay and put off. Surely a Labour leader would want to ensure they are paid fairly. The reality is this Labour administration knew all about equal pay risk. The opposition has warned them for years and years. Officers have warned them, unions warned them, the press has covered it, auditors have highlighted it, the improvement panel, when they were last here, warned you about it, and yet this Labour administration took no action. And since they announced this figure in July, still no action has been taken. The opposition, Lord Mayor, will work across this Council and with commissioners to do all we can to push the Council to finally act, to work to protect the residents as best we can from the negative impacts of this administration and to limit the damage of Labour's equal pay crisis. Because, Lord Mayor, the reality is postponed meetings of CBM, cancelled equal pay meetings, one of them at the request of the leader, Council at risk of closure if it doesn't get a grip of its situation, is all frozen because this Labour administration refuses to act in the interests of Birmingham, not in the interests of protecting its own party brand. There is a clear message to the leader to act, to save the councils, to protect the residents, just like you should have acted for the last 6 years. Don't leave it another day. Act now and do what you can to stop this risk before the council collapses under your failure. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Rob Alden. Now I call on Councillor Raja Harmer to speak.